hiinlane on ka tema õpetaja, mees valdab hiina keelt ja on oma sügavate teadmiste tõttu sellest alast, Hiina kultuurist, Taijist, omas ringkonnas suureks autoriteediks ja lõuskaks.
Nice to be here.
What could be the philosophy of Taiji in, let's say, one word?
Well, in one word, you'd say that there isn't a philosophy of Taiji Chuan. Really, this is something that comes, you could say it comes from Taoism, or it's influenced by Taoism, but it's really a matter of your experience and what you learn from experience and how you use that for your life.
Experience?
Well, for example, in Taiji Chuan, the way you practice, it's an internal art. This is a martial art, but it's very different than other martial arts in that it's an internal style. So you're cultivating not just the muscles of the body. It's not just like lifting weights or that kind of exercise. You're also cultivating this body's internal energy, the Chinese call qi. And as you get, you're able to cultivate this more and more using your mind intent, you will feel more connected to your body, for example.
What is it we see right now?
There's a couple of things going on. The guys in the front and the back are doing two different sections of this Nichuan form, which was a secret form until rather late. And the guys in the middle are practicing what's called push hands, or in Chinese, tuishao.
Scott, it is told that one of the first masters of Taiji, Chang, saw the fight of snake and stork, and so invented a first few exercises of Taiji. So how do snake and stork actually fight?
Well, this is, of course, this is the legend of Taiji Chuan, that this man, Chang Zangfang, who was this living on this Taoist mountain, saw this, but probably it came from other more practical things. But the idea behind the story is that you should be able to move so fluidly like a snake. In Taiji Chuan, for example, you would never meet force with force. So if something is coming to you, you would never block hard like, say, karate does. You would always move fluidly. So the way the snake was able to avoid the hard thrusting attacks of the crane was by being very fluid and to never resist those movements.
And so,
so you see, like what they're doing now is, in one way, first you learn the movements, learn the kind of language of it, and then you put it together with another person and make it real by saying, okay, it's one thing to visualize this push, but then can you really do it?
So being a snake is more like a symbol, also being a stork.
Right. All of these kind of Chinese stories are not really represent actual history. People sort of take them like that today, but in truth, these are sort of the creation legends, or like folklore is today. When you tell some Estonian tale, it's probably not exactly history, but it's saying something important about, your culture and your history.
You mentioned a few things, but what are the main differences of Chinese Taiji compared to, let's say, karate, which is Japanese descent, or Taekwondo, which is Korean descent?
Well, of course, there are technical differences. Taekwondo, for example, likes to kick and particularly prefers long range, whereas in Taiji Chuan, there's a lot of movements where you're going to move in and it prefers to be close. But the real difference is that this is an internal art. If you look at me, for example, I've practiced 20 years, but I don't have big muscles. I don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, But my skill and my strength continues to progress. For example, a couple of years ago, my teacher was visiting, and he was in our school, and he wanted to say, okay, let me see how far you've progressed. Come on, we'll do some push hands like these guys are doing. And I can say, to kind of qualify this, in the United States, I won several national championships, and in the world competition, I was second place and lost by 1 point to the defending champion.
The world competition.
Yes, international competition. And my teacher is more than twice my age, well over 80 now, and he was able to knock me down to the ground and throw me into the wall several times, and I couldn't even make him take a step back.
What's hard, Daddy?
Well, this is, of course, how he's helping me to learn. I can see how much more I have to go.
Okay.
But to me, this is a really great thing of Taiji Chuan, this inexhaustible nature.
Scott, you have original Chinese sword here.
Yeah.
Could you demonstrate it a bit? It's your actual profession.
Yes. Yes, I'm quite drawn to the sword. It's kind of a dying art. It's almost lost. And I was very lucky to study with two teachers who were sort of the last guys. One is now the teacher I mentioned, Wang Yanyan, who is 86 now, and the Master Liang, who is now 100 years old and still alive and still kicking.
Okay.
But this is sword is kind of the advanced training of Taiji Chuan. And it's the same kind of idea. We're never blocking or using hard force. We're flowing with what comes toward us. And this is, it's sort of like when you learn sword, it's sort of like going to graduate school.
Yeah.
But so, for example, if someone's thrusting to me, I'll deflect and come in and around this way. And to learn to
You can
control.
demonstrate it also very quickly, huh?
Quick or slow, doesn't matter. Usually we're practicing slowly to develop your body mechanics. For example, okay, after this move, we're here and around, down. But we must be able to also go very, very slowly. This way, to thrust.
It is.
So we do both.
Okay. The particular sword is original thing made
Yes.
in when?
This will be Qing Dynasty sword.
That means.
Well, Qing Dynasty was from 1600s to 1911. This probably would be an early 19th century blade. This is one of my students' swords. And we prefer to use the real sword because it has a much more lively feel. This is the Chinese sword is actually a very, very good sword. Most people are familiar with the samurai swords and how well they're made. Japanese swords are actually made by a method they learned from China. So this has a sword that's what's called sanmei. It's 3-layer construction. The bodies of the sword are Damascus steel. They're folded layers. And there's a central core that runs through that's a very hard steel. And when I mean this is hard, it'd be easy to take the steel and shave regular steel with it. You could just shave it right off.
I see you really love swords.
Yes. Yes.
Why to love sword in the era of shotguns or automatic guns? Or
Well, it's kind of an interesting question. Like, what relevance does martial arts have today at all? In some ways, you could say, like, other classical things, like music, for example. I mean, it's still valuable, although Mozart's been dead for many, many years. I think that this is really an art. Besides its obvious martial capabilities, as you use this to cultivate yourself.
okay.
And this is a much more demanding practice. To be able to deflect, be able to deflect the blow of a sword is much more difficult than to deflect a strike of the hand. And so it's a greater challenge. It's more interesting.
Speak about that cultivating yourself. Usually all these Oriental philosophies, they kind of touch the limits of human being, or the where are the limits of human being? Have you seen these?
No, I don't think so. And that's what I really love about Taiji Chuan. You asked the question about other martial arts versus Taiji Chuan before. That's what I find is so great about this, because you're using your internal strength. It doesn't limit it by age. So, and I see my teacher still seems to be more and more skilled. I can't seem to catch up with him. Although I continue to improve myself, and I'm reaching to try to reach for mastery myself to get there. I can see many guys who are double my age, and I can't even begin to fathom their skill.
As I understand, you usually don't break the stones with your skulls or something like that.
No.
But anyway, I know it's a stupid question, but what's the most unbelievable thing you have seen in practicing Tai Chi?
I've seen people knocked down without the other person apparently moving.
How does that?
Actually, they moved very little, but because in Taiji Chuan your whole body is used, not just your arm, and your whole body is quite powerful when it's together. And also this energy in the body, I know it's difficult for people to believe it without having seen it. It's mystical in a way that you can't see it. But you're able to really, as you begin to practice and more, you're able to actually use your mind intent to move this energy. And it is a kind of electromagnetic energy, like in the lights. And so it's quite powerful, and you can rocket somebody across the room.
Scott, I thank you and your
pleasure.
students. Wish you all the best.
And I appreciate the opportunity to speak to so many Estonians at one time.
Thank you.